Knowledge Whale greets you! Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Purple is known as a royal color because back when they relied on only natural dyes, purple came from sea snails and it was the hardest dye to extract and produce, so only royals could afford it. In fact, it would take 12,000 snails to produce 1.4 grams of purple dye. Ants cannot be injured from impact with the ground after being dropped from any height, mostly because they just don't have enough mass. Ironically, Finding Nemo, a movie about the anguish of a captured clownfish, caused home aquarium demand for them to triple. Then, that demand was met by large-scale harvesting of tropical fish from the wild, which devastated clownfish populations. In a real-world transaction involving bitcoins, a man named Laszlo, a computer programmer, paid 10,000 bitcoins for 2 large Papa John's pizzas. Only 4 years later, those same bitcoins were worth $5.12 million. In 1944, a 16-year-old black student in Columbus, Ohio, won an essay contest on the theme "What to Do with Hitler After the War" by submitting a single sentence: "Put him in black skin and let him live the rest of his life in America." Even Al-Qaeda has gone on record as denouncing the actions of ISIS as anti-Islamic. Now that's when you know you're extreme. A guy named Seth Putnam wrote a song about how being in a coma was stupid, and soon after went into a coma himself. After he awoke, when asked how it felt to be in a coma, he said, "Being in a coma was just as stupid as I wrote it was." Leonardo da Vinci's The Mona Lisa wasn't famous until it was stolen from the Louvre in 1911. A hyena's laugh, which is called giggles by zoologists, can be heard up to 13 kilometers away. Back in ancient Egypt, when a cat passed away, every member of its household would shave their eyebrows off in mourning. In 2013, a California elderly home went bankrupt, leaving 16 residents destitute with nowhere to go. Most of the staff moved on, but Maurice Rowland, a cook, and Miguel Alvarez, a janitor, refused to leave their posts and took care of the residents at their own expense. Now those are good Samaritans. There is a city in Turkey called Batman, located in the province of Batman, near the Batman River. A Shiba Inu dog named Bodhi makes $180,000 a year modeling menswear on Instagram. According to textbooks used to teach children in North Korea, Kim Jong-un learned to drive at the age of 3. There are so many different types of apples. If you were to eat a new one every day, it would take you almost 20 years to try them all. In India, it's not uncommon to enjoy marijuana in milkshake form. In fact, there's evidence of its consumption in this manner dating all the way back to sometime between 500 and 1500 BC. There was an actual superhero movement in Seattle led by a mixed martial artist who went by the name Phoenix Jones. And they were pretty successful. They stopped multiple assaults and robberies until 2014. The CEO of Netflix, Reed Hastings, offered a form of partnership to Blockbuster in the late 90s, and the CEO of Blockbuster, John Antioco, laughed in his face. Probably should have thought that one through. When Fiat workers discovered that a Google Street View car was mapping Södertälje, Sweden, they sent a Fiat to trail it for 45 minutes and have it captured on Street View in front of Volkswagen headquarters. Every resident of Alaska receives an annual oil royalty check, a payment representing their share of revenue from Alaskan oil. In 2008, the payout reached a high of $2,069 or $8,276 for a family of 4. Virgil Griffith, an American software application writer, gathered information on students about their taste in music and compared it with their SAT scores. It goes soca, gospel, jazz, hip-hop, pop, oldies, reggae, alternative, classical, R&B, rap, rock, country, classic rock, and techno in increasing order of SAT scores. The Toyota Supra, which Paul Walker's character Brian drives off at the end of Furious 7, actually belonged to the late actor. Apple got the idea of a desktop interface from Xerox. Scientists have found a way to unboil egg whites in a matter of minutes. The major ingredient to pull off this reversal was urea, one of the main components in urine. Alice Pick, a 35-year-old woman, tried to use a fake $1 million bill to buy $1,675 worth of merchandise at a Walmart in Atlanta, expecting the rest in change. Thomas Jefferson argued that because no generation has the right to bind subsequent generations, the Constitution should expire every 19 years. Dr. Seuss was confronted by a feminist named Allison Laurie, who stated that there are no strong female roles in his books. Near the end of his life, Dr. Seuss replied, stating that his characters are animals, and if she can identify their sex, I will remember her in my will. People just need to relax these days, man. It's a kid's book. Central American stingless bees have been cultivated by Mayans for thousands of years and have been regarded as pets with their hives hung in and around the home. Some hives have been recorded to last over 80 years, being passed down through the generations. Recent polling indicated that 35% of US workers would willingly forego a substantial pay raise in exchange for seeing their direct supervisor fired. Bob Marley was seen as a white man in his native Jamaica due to having a British father, and he suffered racism and discrimination while growing up. At the time of this recording, Madeline Scotto is a 101-year-old woman that is still teaching math at the same elementary school in Brooklyn that she graduated from back in 1928. The country of Liechtenstein has an incarceration rate of 19 per 100,000. With a population of only 37,000, this means that there are approximately 7 people in prison within the nation. 20-year-old Julien Barrault from France spent 6 months looking for the person who killed his online character in a virtual knife fight during a game of Counter-Strike. He finally found the culprit living only a few miles away and then stabbed him in the chest. This is a motorcycle that was built from an old tractor. Flipping a coin isn't actually 50-50, but rather 51-49, biased for the side that was facing up when flipped. The Russians partied so hard once World War II ended that the entire city of Moscow ran out of vodka. Bob Ross did the joy of painting completely free of charge and only made money through his art supply store. In 2015, a goat was placed in a Siberian tiger enclosure in the Far Eastern Safari Park in Russia, and it was supposed to become the tiger's food, except that the tiger and the goat became friends. Drug lord Pablo Escobar offered to pay off Colombia's $20 billion foreign debt in order to avoid extradition to the United States. When given the choice between normal water and morphine water, secluded rats always choose the drugged water and would always die. However, rats provided with space, friends, and games rarely took the drug water and never became addicted or overdosed despite many attempts made by humans to trick them. During the 18th century, you could pay your admission to the zoo in the Tower of London by bringing a cat or dog to feed the lions. Members of the band Good Charlotte used to heavily protest against KFC's treatment of chickens. Then, in 2012 and 2013, they appeared in a number of KFC commercials in Australia and even tried to set a new world record for eating KFC on Australia's Got Talent. Abraham Lincoln once claimed, "Women are the only things that cannot hurt me that I am afraid of." Africanized bees, known as killer bees, are breed hybrids that accidentally escaped quarantine and since have spread throughout the Americas. A stray junkyard dog named Lilica walked up to 13 kilometers every night through the streets of San Carlos, Brazil to collect a food parcel. Upon returning home, she shares the food with her family, a dog, a cat, and some chickens, and a mule. Your body paralyzes itself when you sleep to keep you from acting out your dreams. However, it is in fact possible to wake up still paralyzed, known as sleep paralysis. paralysis. Now that is scary. In 2013, a cat named Cookie went missing while on holiday with her owner in Grasse, southern France. 18 months later, Cookie returned dirty and emaciated, having traveled a journey of 1,127 kilometers all the way home. At the age of only 5, Ayaan Qureshi took and passed Microsoft's IT technician exam, making him the youngest computer specialist in the world. If you earn more than $27,665 Canadian a year, you are part of the richest 4% of the planet. A tomato plant was found on an isolated 40-year-old volcanic island known as Surtsey, found off the coast of Iceland. It was from a previous scientist who took a dump, and subsequently a plant grew from there. And now you're just a little bit smarter. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to press that like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can catch my next video. Want even more? Then check out my vlog channel by clicking the link in the description and follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram for daily fun. Knowledge Whale loves you. I will see you next time.